guys, welcome back to The Bright Side. Macy here, The Bright Side Girl, and today we're going to be doing my April TBR. Once again, I'm going to keep this TBR pretty small because I will be doing Hike-a-thon starting April 18th, which is my next readathon, all themed around like nature and fitness, springtime and all that jazz. I will have a separate TBR coming out in just a couple weeks for that, so stay tuned. I'll link all the information about it up here in the cards so you can click that little eye to check it out. So these are going to be a handful of books that I want to get to before that readathon starts, and these are all going to be series that I'm trying to wrap up. I am really on a big kick of finishing some series I've started over the last couple years, so I'm going to use this first part of April to get more checked off the list. First up, and probably the only one I want to physically read on this list, is Within Ash and Stardust. This is part of the Amid Stars and Darkness trilogy. This is the final book. I read the first book last year for Galaxy-a-thon. Absolutely fell in love. It's really fun. There's an alien princess, there's romance, there's angst. It's just a fun sci-fi adventure. I read the second one in March, so stay tuned for my wrap up where I talk about that. So I want to get to this final book, and I'm really anxious and excited for it. Here pretty soon. Then I have a buddy read. I did like a whole thing for Christmas for my friend Brittany. It was like a 12 months of buddy reading. This was the book that I picked out for March and I didn't get to it, so I want to get to it in April. This is The Other Side of the Sky by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. Something to do with like star-crossed lovers on different planets. I'm not entirely sure, but we're gonna find out. So excited to get to this one. Next up is Given to the Earth by Mindy McGinnis. I read Given to the Sea for Hike-a-thon last year. It has really bad reviews, but I thought it was fine and enjoyable. It is basically set in a fantasy world where there is a chosen one and they have to be like sacrificed to the waves to keep the town, to like appease the gods and keep the village safe. And before they do that, they have to have a baby so that that baby can be basically groomed to be the next sacrifice. It's the whole thing. And so I thought it was fine. I understand why people didn't like it, but they like really didn't like it. I think the audiobook helped, but I have the second book and I want to get to this one following a different character, but I believe the original characters are still in here, so we're gonna check it out. Then we have The Last Life of Prince Alistair. This is again part of a duology, the first book being The Dreadful Tale of Prosper Redding by Alexandra Bracken. This is middle grade about a young man whose grandfather has basically sold his soul to a demon, and the demon comes to collect. It's funny, it's dark, it's witty, and I need to get to this second book here real soon. And then lastly is Fate of the Fallen by Kel Cade. This is one of my favorite fantasy books ever. This is an adult fantasy. This will be a reread for me because the second book is coming out in just a couple days and I'm very excited. This is a fantasy world with goblins and kings and goddesses and elves and all different kinds of creatures. We've got a chosen one trope that's flipped on its head. There's a journey in here, a hero's journey, and it's very funny. It's one of the funniest books I've read, and you don't really see that a lot in fantasy. I so enjoyed this book. It's especially good on audiobook, so I'm going to read this one again, refresh myself, and then continue on in the second book in the series. Yay! So that is it for this April TBR. Let me know if you guys have read any of these books down below in the comments. Let me know what you plan on reading for April. If you plan on participating in Hike-a-thon, be sure to follow me on Instagram at The Bright Side Girl for more bookish and non-bookish content. And I will see you guys next time on The Bright Side.